I can be heard without, even without this. Wow, thank you. Yeah, I don't think anybody came here to hear something at the level of Jimi Hendrix. Anyway, Shabbat Shalom. It's good to be here. It's good to see all of you. Obviously, we've just gone through a bit of weather, and if this keeps up, I'll be able to invite all of you to my house for a swimming party in my basement. So, at any rate, we're going to get started. Because I need this one right now, so I need your help. Hine matov. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Tonight I'm honored to see some friends, guests who are here, and I'm going to ask Madeline Rosenberg to come up and light the Shabbat candles. Okay, I'm getting a twofer. That's great. Yeah, you can do the reading.
I'm doing the reading.
Yeah.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives.
Bless all
who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Oh, it doesn't work that way. You have to go the other direction.
That doesn't work either.
It's a broken match. Yeah.
Set the
Please no.
It's one of those days.
Do you want the clip?
Sure.
Oh, that works today?
Yeah. You gotta press both of them. Yay.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We're going to turn to page 6, and we'll go in the middle of the page and we will read responsively. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
We're going to turn to page 9, and again, we will read responsively at the top of the page. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We're going to turn to page 146. Well, come on. And we will stand as we do the Barhu, recite the Barhu. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Le'olam Ba'ed Hamevorach Hamevorach Le'olam Ba'ed. Thank you. Please be seated. We're going to read in English at the middle of the next page, 147, again responsively, and then we'll say the prayer together. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom.
Days follow day in succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures.
Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. We'll turn to page 148 and we will sing Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratcha u'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם בלילה, נגה יומם בלילה. באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. We're going to go to page 149, and we will stand. For those who are able, please stand. I know this is called the watchword of our faith. I view it as our mission statement. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. And together we're going to recite the Ve'ahavta. Maybe this is the real mission statement. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shiftecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotofot beineinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvisharecha leman tiskiru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kadoshim Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem mi eretz Mitzrayim leot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. We will turn to page 152, and we will sing Michamocha. Michamocha Ba'elim Adonai Michamocha Ne'edar Ba'kodesh Nora Tehilot Ose Fele Malchutecha Ra'uvanecha Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe uMiriam Ze'eli Anu Ve'amru Adonai Yimloch Le'olam vaed. We're going to turn to page 154, and normally I do Vishamru, but not when Sheila's here with the tambourine, because when Sheila's here, we do Yismechu in the middle of the page. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat B'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat B'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shevi Shabbat, Kulam Yisbehu, V'yidanvu Mikvecha Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat B'korei, Oneg Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat B'korei, Oneg Shalom. Vashvi'i Ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, Chemdat Yamin, Oto Karata Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat B'korei, Oneg Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat B'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Zecher Lema'aseh Bereshit Shabbat. Zecher Lema'aseh Bereshit Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat B'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat B'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Thank you. I can't do that without the tambourine. That's just the way it is. Yeah. That's what happens when you don't get haircuts. Okay, we're going to turn to page 155. I'm going to ask all who can to please rise, and we will start the tefillah, otherwise known as Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Gula livnei vneihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלו הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. On page 161, we're going to read in the middle of the page together the 4 lines right under the Hebrew, starting with be gracious. Be gracious, Adonai, our God, to your people Israel, and receive our prayers with love. O may our worship always be acceptable to you. Fill us with the knowledge that you are near to all who seek you in truth. I'm going to read the next prayer in the Hebrew, and then we will recite together. I know it looks that it's responsive, but in this case it won't be. It'll be everybody together and at the top of the page. So, Modim anachnu lach, shatahu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu leolam va'ed. Tzur chayenu magen yish'enu atahu ledor vador. נודה לך ונספר תהילתך על חיינו המסורים בידיך ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו ועל נפלאותיך וטובתך שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים הטוב כי לא חלו רחמך המרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך מעולם קיווינו לך. And now today, right now, we will do this together, starting with for the good. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts in our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise for the source of being. Okay, now we will go together at the bottom for all these things. For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Now we turn to page 164. When I first learned this tune, I wasn't sure I liked it. Since then, it's become one of my favorites, although, when did I start? 10, 12 years ago? I know it was before Rabbi came. And I remember when Stan was teaching me this, I said, do I really have to learn this? I love the tune now. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov ve'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. What we're going to do now, we're going to do the silent prayer. And then we will go to the Misha Berach. Do the silent prayer duo, say Shalom, and then we'll go to the Misha Berach. And God knows we need some Shalom right now. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. We're going to turn to page 253. And before we recite the prayer, I'm going to read the Misha Berach list that's in front of me. And then, as I said last week, I'll do my best Charlton Heston, and I will point to each of you and move my arm, and you recite any names that are not on the list that you feel that should be. So, our Misha Berach list for this week: Fran Skull, Paul Tackett, Diane Levine, Chassia Haberman, Lev Dickerman, Adam Carrico, Sherry Davies, Chloe Hong, Leah Dolman, Malia Willis, Judy Yesowich, John Lermit, Faith Cohen, Sandra Hall, Carla Dunbar, men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces, men and women of the IDF, the hostages who have been held in Gaza for 546 days, the people of Ukraine, and all people everywhere who are suffering under, for whatever reason, political, military, whatever. David Shapiro. On page 253, we will start with the Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha La'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. I have looked forward to this evening for close to a month. And it's not just that I don't have to be the one to give the Dvar Torah tonight. It's the fact that my favorite person in the world to do this is with us tonight to give a Dvar Torah. I'd rather see her give a Dvar Torah than listen to me any day. So without further ado, we're going to bring Madeline Rosenberg up, and I'm going to enjoy myself.
This bima will always be my favorite, in part because this is the first place I ever held a Torah. To think that Rabbi Miles placed it in my arms, and now I'm standing where he spoke. No pressure with an intro like that. Vayikra. It's time to talk about the little a. And yeah, I mean Alex. My God-appointed life partner and I met in this very shul, became friends, and then didn't talk for 2 years. Through disrespect, we diminished our presence in each other's lives completely. And after 2 years, we met again at this shul right out there, and the rest, as they say, is marital bliss. Just like Alex and I needed time to work on ourselves, God and Israel went through some things. No longer exclusively friends with Moses, but dwelling right in their midst One might rightly ask, what's different about this iteration of active relationship between God and Israel? This time, it's mutual. They made a covenant at Sinai, and it's all very intertwined and intimate. But what will happen when something goes wrong? As it always does, when one party disrespects the relationship. How this time will they make sure that they don't get separated or destroyed? Alex and I signed a ketubah, a document of responsibility for when marriage is hard. Ketubot outline material obligations, but they also undergird the emotional intent of a marriage, providing a way back to mutual respect. Vayikra is a kind of ketubah, holding everyone equally accountable. Mistakes will happen. Whether the insult is between people and people or people and God, there's a mechanism now for repair. Sometimes it's painful. Giving up your most valuable animal is a big deal. Sometimes it's messy. The meat offerings require killing, breaking down bodies, separating components, buckets of blood, and a whole lot of barbecue. Sometimes it's expensive. The literal weight of a goat in silver? Wow. But that's what giving of ourselves takes, isn't it? For a relationship to work, we have to have skin in the game. We do the work of separating our parts to get to the root of our feelings and our actions. Why did I act like that? Why did I say that thing? How do I really feel? What really hurts? Sometimes we have to be willing to set things aside, well outside the camp, and let them go. And when we apologize, we must be specific. The instructions for these offerings are very detailed. The whole tail from the backbone, the fat about the entrails, the protuberance on the liver. Don't bring an "I'm sorry" if you don't understand the harm you caused. If you don't know what protuberance you put on someone's liver, ask for clarification, and then listen. And then respectfully offer up that smoke. Break bread together. Adonai splits grits and pancakes with Aaron and his sons. God recognizes that everyone in the relationship needs care. And sometimes the ones who are busy caretaking need care modeled for them. The ketubah must be signed by 2 witnesses to be valid. In Vayikra, every offering must be brought to the tent of meeting, in public, where the community can see. Y'all, I went down to the tent of meeting yesterday, not because I had to, just for support, and you'll never guess who I seen. Aviv done sin before the Lord. And by the look of that bowl, it was a big one. Y'all pray for him. Bless his heart. But in this very visceral system of apology, such actions by those who judge require them to make an offering of their own. When we don't have anything to hide, we have more room for compassion. When we understand that we will walk the path that we're watching someone else trudge and work out, we step more carefully on our own. And when another life is on the line, something precious to us, we maintain higher standards. On the surface, Vayikra is a bunch of rules. 3 categories of offerings. Always salt them. God doesn't care about heart health. The sacrifice should be hard to part with, because then it means you care. Bringing an offering when you're doing all right. Wait, hold up. How come we got to sacrifice something when we didn't do anything wrong? Shalom, an offering of peace, an offering of well-being. What's that about? When Alex and I reconnected, he started giving me flowers every Shabbat. He hasn't stopped. The value of choosing flowers is that it takes time. He observes something beautiful. He thinks about us. and he shows me tangibly that he appreciates our marriage. And while I arrange them, I think about the blessing he is to me, and I recommit to be the best partner I can for him. Giving and receiving flowers turns us away from our petty differences, from whatever happened during the week, and turns us face to face toward each other's precious hearts. The flowers last from one Shabbat to the next, just like our marriage. It feels so good to ensure we will endure rather than repair in despair. That's the value of the well-being offering. Giving something beautiful to God, who gives us every blessing, just to say, I see you. Thank you. You've got to give something up so you can get something better. We've all heard that, right? That's not the spirit of Vayikra. These actions are about tending our relationships with others and with God, acknowledging that what we have is enough, as we'll sing next week, Dayenu, and because of a relationship of love should generate consistent goodness through tender acts of respect, even when it requires sacrifice. This ketubah endures as long as we keep bringing the best of ourselves. In that spirit, may you bless Adonai with all you choose to give in well-being. May the world be blessed through your right relationships. And to that, I add my grandmother's blessing of blessed memory. May Adonai's choicest blessings be with you always. And let us say, Amen.
Go ahead. You've got the announcements there.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and thank you for being here with us tonight. Boy, it is loud. Shabbat services will be held tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning. Mahjong continues on April 6th. No experience necessary. Doesn't say here what time it is. Do you know what time it is? 1 to 3? Okay, on this sheet, it doesn't say what time. Okay, there are flyers outside, I think. The listening sessions continue. Your voice, your ideas, your opinions matter. Our next session will be held at the home of Andrea Coven on Wednesday, April 9th at 2 p.m. Please see the e-blast for contact information and for more details. Celebrate Passover Seder at Temple Shalom, Sunday, April 13th at 5:30 p.m. Catering by Good Belly, a vegetarian option is available. Reservations must be prepaid and submitted with the Seder form by April 4th. That's today. So that's kind of, sorry, I didn't proofread them before I read them. Please join us at Temple Shalom on May 9th for our Mother's Day Shabbat, Oneg Shabbat. Honor those special people in your life with a contribution to the Watts Mothers and Others tribute. Who? Parents, siblings, children, that special friend. Just $18 for the first name and $5 for each additional name. Honorees will be posted on Temple's e-blast. We will commemorate the 80th anniversary of the Holocaust with a community-wide Yom HaShoah program on Wednesday, April 23rd from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Temple. This year's theme is L'Dor Vador and will be student-led. Registration is required. There's no fee, but registration is required for security purposes. Also, as a community, we will commemorate Yom HaZikaron, Israel's Memorial Day, remembering those who have fallen in battle and from terror attacks on April well, the attacks weren't on April 29th, but the Memorial Day will be, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the J. The ceremony will be led by Kyla and Eden, our two Israeli Shinshiniyot, with musical guests from Israel's Gaza. It says Envelope, Lenore, Ein Gedi, and Tamar Sarah Capsuto. Between now and May 4th, American Jews will vote for their delegates to the 39th World Zionist Congress, the parliament of the Jewish people. Every 5 years, we have the opportunity to have our voices heard for how funds will be spent in Israel and around the world. As Reformed Jews, and I really want to emphasize this, it is critical that our voices be heard so that pluralism and organizations that support the causes we believe in receive funding. There is an intense campaign in the Haredi community to get everyone out to vote and to eliminate the Reform presence or cut it to a minimum. We need to vote in order to make sure that we still have a place at the table. Please register online as a member of ARTSA, the Association of Reformed Zionists of America, and then vote. The cost to register is only $5, but the amount that will be spent on Jewish organizations in Israel and abroad is in the billions. Please vote. It matters. When you, the ARTSA thing says vote reform is the party, is how it's listed on the ballot. So please register and vote reform. Temple Shalom presents Show Us Your Talent, concert and gallery display, Sunday, May 18th at 5. $5 in advance, $8 at the door. More details about these and other events and even more can be found on flyers in the lobby and in our weekly e-blast. If you're not receiving the e-blast and would like to, please contact Latanya to get added to the list. Thank you to Aviv for leading us in music. Thank you to Madeline for an inspiring Dvar Torah. Thanks to Travis for streaming tonight. And please join us for Kiddush and Motzi following the service. Shabbat Shalom.
And I also want to thank Madeline and Ann for honoring us and lighting the Shabbat candles. We're going to page 282, and I'm going to ask for you to rise as we do the Aleinu, for those of you who can. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו השמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, השמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. Before we go to Kaddish and the song before Kaddish, I wanted to mention where I got the idea for You Got to Move. None of you have ever heard that. Through a friend of mine who is no longer with us, I got to meet a fella named Jorman Kaukonen. Nice Finnish name. His mother was a Levine from a long line of rabbis. Now, what's special about some Finnish guy? Well, for one thing, he was the lead guitarist of Jefferson Airplane and also has had a folk blues group going on called Hot Tuna for the past 50 some odd years. And until recently, he had a ranch where he taught people. He gave me a free lesson, which, that's like receiving the Torah from on high. But I wanted to bring something different. Now, my background is musically, it is country blues. That's where I come from. I'll eliminate the rock and roll because everybody was raised on rock and roll, but in my background, it was country blues. And a lot of these guys were preachers. Now, obviously, I didn't want to find anything that had Jesus in it, but there were some wonderful gospel tunes. Well, Mississippi Fred McDowell had a song called You Got to Move. I'm not sure that he wrote it, because I've heard versions by other people like the Reverend Gary Davis. But You Got to Move is basically a way of facing our mortality in a very nice way. Now, I've been doing this for a while, and the congregation only needs to sing along for the chorus. And that is, you got to move, you got to move, you got to move, child, you got to move. When the Lord gets ready, you got to move. So, rather than a reading, I prefer to do this particular song, and I like for everyone to join in as best you can. You got to move, you got to move, you got to move, child, you got to move. When the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. Again, you got to move. You got to move, you got to move, child, you got to move. When the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You might be high, you might be low, you might be rich, child, you might be poor, but when the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. When the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You see those people, they're walking that street. See the policeman, he's walking his beat. But when the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. When the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. But when the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. We are going to read the list, people whose Yortzeit we celebrate. And if you're here for anyone, please feel free to stand as their names are written or names are read. Paula Adler, Sam Barron, father of Gerald Barron. Roberta Bloom, mother of Steve Bloom. Sam Evans, great uncle of Ruth Honenberg, uncle of Margot Kling. Arthur Frank, Harvey J. Frank, Zerlina Frank, Bessie Kahn, aunt of Stuart Pass, Marcia M. Klein, Helen Liebschitz, mother of David Liebschitz, Harry Rosenberg, Sylvia Rosenbluth, aunt of Karen Pass, Erwin Teal, father of Bob Teal, and we're in Shloshim for Rabbi Chester Diamond and our own Ellen Goldwyn. We will turn to page 294 and rise for the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam leolmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. Where was it? Well, I tell you what, I'll stand here all night because I just went blank with what page I wanted to turn to. So for one more week, because I promise you after this week, we're going to give this a rest for a while. We're just going to do Bim Bam. Bim Bam, Bim 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 Bam, Bim 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 Bam. Bim Bam, Bim 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 Bam, Bim 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 Bam. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom. Bim Bam, Bim 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 Bam, Bim 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 Bam. Bim Bam, Bim 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 Bam, Bim 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 Bam. Shabbat Shalom.